Hi, Vencore Weather meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday, June 23rd. A lot to talk about today. Today is likely to be the hottest day of the week with temperatures soaring to the 90s in most I-95 corridor locations. However, a strong cold front will bring a fresh round of showers and thunderstorms later in the day, early tonight. Some of those storms can be on the strong to severe side with heavy downpours, damaging wind gusts, and possible hail. This sets off the beginning of a cooling trend that really gets kicked into gear later in the week. As we progress towards the Friday, Saturday, Sunday time frame, we'll have high temperatures reduced from the 90s this afternoon to the 70s at best in the upcoming weekend time period. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday could in fact turn out to be a cool and wet spell for the northeast U.S. with low pressure near the east coast, and quite an interesting situation for this time of the year. Looking ahead even beyond the upcoming weekend, it looks like this change to a cooler weather pattern here in the northeast U.S. and the Midwest will continue into the early part of July through much of next week. At the same time, upper level low pressure area develops over the Great Lakes region. A big ridge of high pressure will set up in the Pacific Northwest, and that's where the hot and dry weather will set up as we begin the month of July. In fact, let's start off by looking at the 500 millibar current conditions here for right now, early this morning on Tuesday morning, and then we'll look a week from now to see what last night's GFS model run is doing in terms of the upper air pattern. Well, here we stand this morning, basically a zonal flow across the northern U.S., zonal meaning west to east. We have high pressure situated in the upper atmosphere over the south central U.S. or southwestern U.S. And here is a very vigorous short wave right in this region right here. That will be sliding through the northeast U.S. later on today, helping to set up some upward motion along a strong frontal boundary zone that pushes in late in the day, leading to the possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorm activity. Now let's jump ahead 7 days. And here we go. This is the forecast from last night's zero-Z GFS model run. Notice the ridge of high pressure moves from the south central U.S. into the western U.S. and a fairly vigorous looking upper level trough sets up here in the northeastern part of the country, kind of centered over the Great Lakes region. Again, we go from this kind of a pattern with a west to east flow across the northern U.S. to basically a ridge in the west and a trough in the east, a much cooler pattern setting up here in the Mid-Atlantic region beginning later in the week and continuing, it looks like, into the month of July, certainly through the first week of July, which is next week. Well, let's now get back to the immediate concern here, and that's a strong frontal passage later today, early tonight. Here's the front as it stands right now, early Tuesday morning. There's some strong showers and thunderstorms, and we'll see the radar in a moment, already across northwestern Pennsylvania. For the most part, that will stay north of the I-95 corridor. It could clip the Poconos, for example, extreme southeastern New York, but probably from New York City down to Washington, D.C., we'll have to wait for the reformation or the formation of another line of showers and thunderstorms. Again, we'll take a look at the radar in a minute, but here is that strong frontal system, and this high pressure behind it will push in on the day Wednesday here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Still quite warm tomorrow. Temperatures well up in the 80s, but much more comfortable with lower humidity values following the passage of this strong cool front. Well, here's the latest radar loop, and again, there's an area of strong showers and thunderstorms right now across northern Pennsylvania. For the most part, that'll stay from east central Pennsylvania up north and east, perhaps clipping the Poconos in northern New Jersey and New York City during the midday hours. But the area to watch for Philadelphia and D.C. is primarily back in here. This will extend and grow over the next few hours south and west of this initial batch, and that should affect the D.C. and Philadelphia areas from perhaps mid-afternoon through late afternoon into the early evening. But we'll watch this to see if it can reach all the way down to, let's say, from Allentown to New York City over the next few hours, and then more will develop to the south and west out across this region likely affecting D.C. and Philadelphia later in the afternoon. And here's the latest GOES visible satellite image from the Penn State Ewald site. Notice kind of lots of high clouds here, kind of a milky overcast in south central Pennsylvania right now. Just to the north and west in this area right here, you can see some scalloping to the clouds. These are associated with those cumulonimbus clouds with thunderstorms across northern Pennsylvania. Again, basically moving west to east, and we'll look in this area over the next few hours to see some more development of showers and thunderstorms that should affect the I-95 corridor later on in the afternoon. Well, let's take a look at some computer forecast maps for later on this afternoon and early tonight associated with this strong frontal passage. This is from last night's 0Z GFS model run for 2 p.m. this afternoon. Here's that frontal system by early to mid-afternoon cutting across central Pennsylvania. Notice here kind of a heavier area of rain depicted here by the GFS model run. That is associated with those showers and thunderstorms right now racing eastward across northern Pennsylvania. It could extend a little farther south than this, down across Allentown, Reading area into northern New Jersey. Again, this is only by about 2 p.m. this afternoon. Meanwhile, out here, there's a newer area of showers and thunderstorms producing some rainfall here, and that is headed for the D.C. Philly metro region. And here's the forecast map for this evening, about 8 o'clock this evening. By this time, that frontal system reaches right along the I-95 corridor, and basically a band of showers and thunderstorms up and down the Mid-Atlantic region, the I-95 corridor. Some of the storms can be strong to severe this afternoon into the early evening, with possible damaging wind gusts, heavy downpours, and even some hail is possible with this frontal passage late in the day. And finally here, as far as the frontal system is concerned, this is the forecast map for late tonight, after midnight, about 2 a.m. By this time, that front now moving to the east coast, off the east coast. Basically, the threat is over by this time up and down the I-95 corridor and points to the west. In fact, skies should become partly cloudy well after midnight, with temperatures noticeably cooler late tonight, way down into the 60s, and you can tell by early tomorrow morning we'll be in a different air mass with much lower humidity values. Just one last map, a quick peek to the upcoming weekend. Again, it could set up to be a cool and wet spell in the Mid-Atlantic region Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Today's high temperatures in the 90s. By Friday, Saturday, and Sunday primarily in the 70s. Could even see lower than that in the 60s in many parts of the Mid-Atlantic region this weekend. This is the forecast map for Saturday evening. Just wanted to point out the key players on the field here. Kind of a winter type of situation where we have strong high pressure to the north, kind of a banana type high pressure we talk about in the wintertime, with some chilly air setting up across northern New England, up across the Great Lakes. Meanwhile, low pressure headed for the coastline in this fashion right here. At some point over the weekend, we'll see low pressure near the Mid-Atlantic coastline with chilly high pressure situated to the north. And the GFS now is putting out lots of moisture, lots of rainfall, potential Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, a cool and wet period in the Mid-Atlantic region. That cooler trend that sets up later in the week looks like it continues right through the first week of July here in the Northeast U.S. as well as across the Midwest and Great Lakes. Possible strong to severe thunderstorms later on today. A lot going on. That's it for now. Vencore meteorologist Paul Dory.